All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's Career Readiness Network, which is an apprenticeships panel. Super excited for you to hear from all of our presenters. So you're not going to hear a ton from me right now, which is probably good news, but I am Samantha Jackson. I'm a college and career readiness consultant here at Ken ISD. Really quick housekeeping item. Please make sure your Zoom name matches at least somewhat to your registration name, so first name, last name, so that we can make sure that you're awarded your sketches accordingly. So there's no survey or anything that you need to fill out. Just make sure that your Zoom name matches. If you don't know how to do that, in the upper right-hand corner of your little video screen, there should be some dots. You can click that and click rename and make sure that that is correct. Otherwise, if you're having trouble with that, just throw your name in the chat and I'll make sure to get that. This is the fourth in our Career Readiness Network series. So today we have a panel. We have 5 more sessions coming up. Our previous sessions are also recorded if you're interested in checking those out. I'm not going to go over this in super detail. Again, I want to get to our panelists, but this will be shared in the PowerPoint afterwards. But really just why are we talking about apprenticeships? Apprenticeships are really great structured on-the-job learning where students are also paid and they're earning an industry credential. As of this is 2023 data here as of in the state of Michigan, 18,000 active apprentices. The biggest industries being construction, manufacturing, but we're also seeing increases in many other areas that are seeing the value of apprenticeships. Okay, that is all from me right now. So we're going to have each of our panelists kind of have a little dedicated block of time where they're going to share about their program, how students can apply for it, who makes a good candidate for it, so that hopefully we're not jumping back and forth trying to keep track of who is who. So we are going to start off with Brad from Iron Workers 25, and I'm going to stop sharing here.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I just put my contact info in the chat if anybody wants to reach out to me for more questions later. My name's Brad Pierce. I'm with Ironworkers Local 25. We represent the union ironworkers in the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. We have a 4-year Department of Labor registered apprenticeship program, Earn While You Learn. Students go to school quarterly for a 50-hour training week. The rest of the time, they're taking that knowledge they gained in the classroom and applying it in the field under the guidance of Journey people. So what does an ironworker do? We're kind of the skeleton of buildings. So think of skyscrapers, bridges, overpasses, arenas. There's a lot of work coming up in downtown Grand Rapids and currently in downtown Grand Rapids. So yeah, we start with putting rebar and foundations. From there, we'll erect columns, put in the beams as the buildings go up. We'll top it out. The way an apprentice or a person who's a prospective apprentice can apply is by reaching out to me or checking out our website, which is www.ironworkers25.org. We take applications year round. The only weeks we do not take applications are going to be major holidays because that's when generally our staff's taking vacation. So 4th of July week, Thanksgiving, Christmas, this is a time of year where we don't take as much applications. Next year, I'm looking to put on about 270 apprentices across the state, about 100 in the Grand Rapids area. We do have a training center located right in Hudsonville, so just outside of Grand Rapids. Yeah, personally, I am a person who came through an apprenticeship program. I was, prior to being an ironworker, maintenance person at Wayne State University. I joined the apprenticeship program way back in 2011, and through the course of my time, worked my way up the ranks. And that's something I like to talk about in these types of discussions because most people think construction, you're always going to be working the tools. We need those people, but we also need the best and brightest who can work their way up through the ranks. We represent also foremen, general foremen, superintendents on jobs. So we need people who want to advance their career and knowledge. You finish an apprenticeship program with us, your person is eligible to get up to 32 free college credits towards a applied science associate's degree at any one of the community colleges across the state to kind of transition into those future leadership roles. And I don't know how much time is allotted for me. I know we have a lot of people, so let me know if somebody else wants to jump in or
You still
any.
got more time.
Beg your pardon.
You still got some time.
Perfect. Awesome. So, as an apprentice goes through the apprenticeship program, the currently starting wage is $21.69 an hour on the paycheck, plus another $31 an hour in benefits. Apprentices are entitled to two retirement accounts, so we still offer a traditional pension program, and they will also have a 401k type annuity program as well. Healthcare through Blue Cross Blue Shield, Delta Dental, and Blue Vision. They get vacation pay and also a health reimbursement account to cover the incidentals, co-pays, and whatnot. Every 6 months as they go through the program, and this is contingent on them doing what they're supposed to do, which is going to work, coming to their training days, and doing their homework, they will get a pay raise of roughly 5%. After 4 years of on the job and in the classroom learning, they will get their Department of Labor certificate as well as a journeyman card from our international union in DC. Journeyman iron workers today are making 35.55 an hour plus another $42 in benefits. So you're looking at roughly $79 an hour as a journeyman iron worker. Anything after 8 hours in a day is time and a half. We don't wait until 40 hours for their overtime. Saturday time and a half and Sunday's double time, including benefits. So it's a pretty lucrative career. I love it. Some of the projects I've got to work on across the state. I'm from Detroit personally, but I do cover the lower peninsula, um, Little Caesars Arena, the Gordie Howe Bridge. This is also portable. I traveled the country when I was still in the field. I worked in Austin, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, West Virginia. So if as the young people grow up and get married and hey, their spouse needs to move or they want to move, they can totally take their classroom hours and experience and go to another state. We have local unions in every state in the country as well as all the provinces of Canada. So extremely portable career. And there's never been a better time to get into a union building trade.
Great. Thank you, Brad. And again, each one is going to kind of start off with their allotted time, but then at the end, we're going to have time for just open Q&A. So if you have additional questions for Brad, you can throw those in the chat or keep them to the end and we will come back to it. Thank you. All right. So next we are going to Tony, who is with Steepletown Neighborhood Services in a kind of very different field, different direction here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, good morning. My name is Tony Wolford, and I'm the ECE Apprenticeship Program Manager at Steepletown Neighborhood Services. So I work with people who are interested in getting a CDA, which is a Child Development Associate. So that's what our program is. It's a fast track program to get their CDA for anyone who's interested in ECE, which is early childhood education. So they will work full time in a classroom between like 32 and 40 hours a week in an infant or toddler or preschool classroom. They will also, during that time, be taking coursework at either Grand Rapids Community College or at Vibrant Futures, which is another institution for the education track. And during that time, they'll also be coached. So we have, I was originally a coach. I became a program manager a few months ago. I'm still kind of coaching while we replace me as a coach. And then we also have another coach named Michael, and we go to the classrooms to just check in with the teachers. So we support them emotionally, emotionally, academically, and professionally. So that can look like if someone is struggling in their classroom and they just need some advice, we can give them advice. Or if they are having trouble signing up for the coursework, we do the back end of that kind of stuff. And we're just kind of that third party to help them through the program and to support them in any way we can. If they need support services, like if they need a laptop or something, we can help with that as well. So it's a really cool program because we really believe in the coaching model. So anyone who's 18 and older can apply for our program. They must have a high school diploma or a GED. And it's for anyone who wants to further their education, and it's for anyone who wants to work with children, or maybe they want to do a job like mine someday and they want to get their foot in the door into ECE. So what's really cool is that we don't require anyone to have full experience with children. It can be for anyone walking in saying, I have zero experience. How can I work with children? And we help them through that process. So as a coach, we help them with like their resume or applying to jobs or interview skills, things like that. So we're really career coaches as well. And it's really cool because we partner with different childcare centers in the area. We have lots and lots of partners. So when they know of open availability or spots in their centers, they'll contact us a lot of the time, or we'll reach out to them, see if they have any spots and openings so that we can set up interviews. We obviously don't interview for the person who's applying to these jobs, but we do help them along the way with it. And we're also very open to welcoming new partners into our program. So if they want to apply to somewhere that's not partnered with us, they're welcome to do that too, which is really awesome. So yeah, anybody can apply. They can either submit an interest form on steepletown.org, or we have walk-ins all the time, and we also have referrals from different centers. So a lot of times, like for the example, the Y, if they have somebody starting new and they are required to be on a compliance plan to get their CDA, the Y will reach out to Michael and I, and they'll say, hey, we have these people who are interested in getting their CDA, or they need to get their CDA in order to work in a classroom, depends on the center. And so that they can be referred to us, and then we go meet with them and get them set up in the program. So it's really nice. And one of the questions is what makes someone successful in your program? I think it's really, really important to be engaged with our coaching model. So we typically meet with people between 1 and 2 times a month, sometimes more, sometimes less. We typically like to do it 1 to 2 times a month, so maybe every other week. And I think really being engaged with us and building that rapport with us is really important. I've had lots of apprentices that I've become super close with and just like keep in contact even when they're done with the program, just seeing how they're doing. A lot of those people are moving on and getting like their associate's degrees or bachelor's degrees. And so I stay in contact with them just to see how they're doing. And it's really awesome to see where they started versus where they are now, because a lot of them are saying, I never thought that I would get a certification, or I never thought that I would get a degree and never thought I would further my education. And now they're doing so, or they're becoming a lead teacher in the classroom. So it's really awesome. And also just being engaged with the instructor or the professor through GRCC or Vibrant Futures. I think being engaged with them and having that open communication. And if someone is struggling, and that they reach out to that instructor or professor saying, hey, I'm really struggling with this assignment. Please help me. And Michael and I like to tell our apprentices, we're not tutors, but we are coaches. And so we coach them to, maybe they've never had to reach out to a professor or an instructor before, and they don't know how to format an email to reach out to them. So we help coach them through that, which is awesome. And I think it's really nice because we also have a pre-apprenticeship type of training program. It's called Basics. It happens a couple times a year. I think the next one's in the spring. And so we set up a time for people for a few weeks. Like I think it's like about 6 weeks to come in maybe once a week, twice a week, and they get training to basically introduce themselves into the world of early childhood education, because maybe they just got out of high school and they're like, I have no idea what I want to do, but I babysat my nieces or nephews and I know that I like working with children. So let me go and see what this is all about. And so they get kind of an introduction into what early childhood education is like and what to expect in a classroom. They get to do an observation in the classroom for a couple hours, and they get to choose if they want to do like an infant toddler classroom or a preschool classroom. And they get to go in for a few hours to one of our partner centers and just kind of observe and see what's happening. And then they can decide, hey, I do actually want to join that apprenticeship program that Steepletown has. And then we get them set up along the way. So that's really cool. I think that's a great way to prepare people into the world of ECE. Sorry if you hear my cat in the background. He loves to join me during meetings. And yeah, this work is the best work I've ever done. I absolutely enjoy it. I was a teacher for about 10 years in early childhood education. So I know how important it is and how we are lacking teachers. I'm sure most people understand that we don't have enough teachers in the field. So that's the goal of why this apprenticeship program was created in the first place, is to gain more teachers and to show them, hey, this is really rewarding work. It's the best day ever when you see a child and they're doing things and they're reaching milestones that they've never reached before. It's so exciting. And so I love hearing the apprentices talk about, hey, I got this kid to read this letter today or to write their name today. So I'm really trying to encourage people to think more about early childhood education because it's just so important. And these are our future. The children are our future. So yeah, it's a really awesome job. I love my job so much. And yeah, for anyone interested, and it's all free, by the way. All the coursework is free. The coaching model is free. Everything is free with this program. We provide the textbooks, we provide the tuition, all that kind of stuff. So no one has to worry about those extra costs, which a lot of people are worried about, and exactly why a lot of people don't go through school and stuff. So, and also when they are finished with it, it's really awesome because if they do GRCC or Vibrant Futures, they earn 9 credits towards an associate's degree. They have to go to GRCC for it, or I think possibly another local community college, but I'm pretty sure it's just GRCC. So they get those 9 credit hours so that they don't have to take, those extra couple classes when they do go further their education if they want to. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. And yeah, please reach out to me if you have any questions. I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. So yeah, thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, Tony. And again, feel free to put questions in the chat. We'll have time at the end as well. So again, very different. We have some panelists today who are in some of those kind of more traditional apprenticeship fields with construction and manufacturing, but really wanted to make sure to showcase that there are other opportunities. And if you have heard or if you have young children, you know that there's a desperate need for early childhood educators.
Yes.
And to continue on that, our next panelist is Joel from West Michigan Works, where we're going to continue to hear the importance of early childhood and then another kind of different field.
Thanks, Samantha. Hi, everybody. Joel Elsenbrook with West Michigan Works. Kind of a totally different perspective than Tony and Brad in that we're a workforce development board. So my team works more on the employer side of things, helping them develop and manage programs. So we're what you call an intermediary or a program sponsor. So we actually hold standards with the U.S. Department of Labor, and then we work with area employers to help them build programs that they can run at their places of employment. So a little different perspective, but glad to be part of the panel today, and hopefully can answer any questions that you might have. We do have 2 programs that we recruit for. What we find working with employers a lot of times, because it is an investment on the employer's part, they have a tendency to promote from within into their apprenticeship programs. But we have been spending a lot of time in the last few years reaching out to some of the non-traditional industries and working like Tony with early childcare and some of the healthcare fields. So I'm going to share our website. And Samantha, I apologize if I take over the Zoom meeting and can't get it back. But this is our website. It's westmiworks.org. And again, we're Workforce Development Board. So we work with employers and we also work with job seekers. But if you have students interested in apprenticeship, they can click the job seeker side of the website. And if you go to our career exploration tab and click on apprenticeships, there's a lot of information here about apprenticeships in general. So some of the things, like I said, that we find our employers often are entering existing workers into programs, but there are some resources out there where students can find out more information about apprenticeships and search for jobs in their region. So if you go to this link on apprenticeship.gov, on the top navigation bar, there's a section for career seekers, and they do have a place where you can search apprenticeship jobs or apprenticeship programs within your location. There's a lot of other great resources on here just about becoming an apprentice and some of the other details about apprenticeship programs with the U.S. Department of Labor. So this is a good resource if kids are interested in apprenticeships. Like I said, we do have a couple of programs that we are actively recruiting for. We also have an early care or a child development associate program. There is a application of interest right on this website that they can fill out, and somebody can get back to them and tell them a little bit more. Love the work that Tony and Steepletown are doing. We're also working with them in conjunction of trying to develop apprenticeship programs for employers in that space. The other one that we've really found success with is our medical assistant program. And students can click on the link here to find out more about the program. This is a year-long program, and the next cohort is going to start classes in January. So the application is closed right now, but it'll open again for the next cohort in the summertime. But they can fill out the general interest form here, and then we will send them an email once that application period opens up. There is also a lot more information here about the program, about the training providers, and about the employers that participate in the medical assistant program. So a couple of opportunities there. Again, we come at it from a little different perspective because my team is more on the employer side, working with them to develop and manage programs. That being said, our future focus is looking at pre-apprenticeship and youth apprenticeship. So pre-apprenticeship is where we prepare students to kind of give them a pre-credential that shows, hey, I'm a good candidate for an apprenticeship program and have been vetted, and my chances for success are going to be higher because I've had this. The state currently has a pilot program for a apprenticeship readiness certificate, the MARC they call it. And so we have been in communication with the state and with some of the folks at KCTC trying to develop one of these pre-apprenticeship programs. The other thing that's kind of fun is a youth apprenticeship, where some of that training that juniors and seniors can get into could become part of the training required for the USDOL apprenticeship program. And so that's space that we have not worked in the past. We've spent more time trying to get some of those non-traditional employers interested in the USDOL registered apprenticeship model. But moving forward, that is our focus, to look at some pre-apprenticeship and youth apprenticeship. So we're pretty excited about that. So thanks, you guys. Look forward to continuing the conversation.
Thank you, Joel. All right, next up we have Chris from West Michigan Plumbers, Fitters, and Service Trades, UA 174. Oh, I think you're muted.
Here we are.
There you go.
Yeah, audio, video issues this morning.
You're all there now.
Good morning. Thanks for having us. This is definitely the panel we want to be in front of, the counselors. That's who we want to get in front of and let everyone know what we have going on here. So I am the training coordinator with 174. Currently, we have 215 apprentices out of 1,100 members. So we're trying to replenish the need right now in the skilled trades. I'm sure that's some of the emphasis right now, is why everyone got together. One of the huge delinquency we have is plumbers. We need 550,000 plumbers in the country in the next year. So we're wide open there. We offer every avenue to attain your plumbing license here. The training, we even reimburse for the testing. So once they go and take the test and come back with the certification, we will reimburse the cost of it. So with the cost, our program is completely free. We literally give them the tools to go to work. There's a toolbox that's given to you. You start off, our program is 5 years. The apprentices come here 1 day a week, every other week. It's just like a regular work day. They get a attendance slip when they're here, and then they go back to their supervisor the following day and submit that, and they're paid like they're at work. So there's no time lost on the job, and they're actually being paid. It's a little bit more than earn while you learn. It's actually a paid education. So we start off at 50%, go up 55, 60, 70, and 80 every year that they gain 168 hours of related trade instruction and 1,700 hours of on-the-job training. So 10% of the time is spent here. The rest is learned in the field with hands-on. That comes out to about $280,000 that they'll incur as earned income. in their 5-year program. So that's a great jumpstart for the kids when they start off, rather than having student loan debt. I kind of went that avenue when I first started. I got in 2001, and it was a couple years after high school, but I gave the college try. And then I got in an apprenticeship, fortunately, and through my apprenticeship, I gained that plumbing license, some welding certificates, and that was just kind of the start. So we offer lots of training. Nobody spends more money on training outside of the US government than the United Association. So even after our apprenticeship, there's all kinds of evening classes that we have. We call them upgrades. So you can come in and gain some new certifications, as well as our instructors here and myself, the coordinator. There is a 1-week training in Ann Arbor that internationally we all get together there. So there's always continuing education. I mentioned the school. That's going to be 1 day a week, every other week they come here. So that's 26 times a year they have an opportunity to come in here. There's issues come up where they're scheduled for a holiday or they're sick. So we do have some days figured in there that they have a little wiggle room there. And the 1,700 hours is pretty easy to achieve. With that deficit right now we have the skilled trades, lots of jobs are working overtime. We try for that not to happen, but it's not untypical for people to be working 50 hours a week right now. So with that skills gap, I mean, it's huge. We are trying to get people in here all the time. We have last year we accepted about 120 applications. We ended up interviewing 64 and we hired 36. We're not sure this upcoming year what that looks like, just based off of the work in the area. So we'll have a better idea here after the first of the year what's going to be needed. So how we do our program is we're going to have an open house February 20th. Everyone's welcome to come in here, check out the facility. During the day while the apprentices are here, we'll have a bunch of workstations set up and stuff, and tours will be coming through here. Schools will come through and other programs, kind of see what we have going on here, what we offer. And that runs till about 7 o'clock at night. So that allows other contractors to come in, see the training, what's offered here, and it allows the professionals that are already working out there an opportunity to come in. The day following our open house, February 21st, we are going to accept applications. Those run till March 7th. So we're going to have 2 weeks of open applications. You need to apply in person. You'll get on a computer, fill out your application, and upload your documents. We'll have scanners in there and someone working with you. So everything's uploaded. Reason we went to that is we had paper applications previously and people would have such poor handwriting we couldn't reach out to them again. So we're going to go the digital way this time. Once the applications are submitted, we use a third-party entity so that way it shields us from any nepotism or discrimination. So it's wide open. It's no longer, you need to be your cousin's brother was in the trade and that gets you in. So it's completely shielding us from that. So after we upload the information to ABT Metrics, they have about 2 weeks. They'll get a username and a password. Then they come back in, they'll take a couple tests. One test is a journey assessment. They'll watch a journey video, kind of shows you what we do. No surprises here. We're going to let you know that, you work outside in the cold, you work in dark and dirty places at times. It'll show you the path for advancement, right? There's so many different fields for us. So kind of lay out the groundwork. You take a little assessment test as far as, basically, is this something you can see yourself doing with these demands and the work environments that you're in? And then there's a math test. After that test, you take a math test. The math test is pretty elementary. It's tape measure, adding fractions, decimal equivalents of fractions. Everything's story problem based. It's pretty simple. And the reason why it's so simple is it's a national test and our Southern brothers need a little help. They don't quite have the education that Michigan people do. So that helps. It's unified everywhere. Everyone's getting the same questions to get in. And then judging by your test scores, you may be asked to come in for an interview. We used to do a big 10-person panel, which is pretty intimidating to a kid. Now we've changed it to where it's a 2-person panel and it's 5 questions and the same 5 questions are asked to every single person. So there's no, You know, we see you're wearing a hunting shirt. Oh, what kind of hunting do you do? And so we're trying to shield ourselves from any issues. Out of those 5 questions, the first question is work experience. That's the most weighted question. So a lot of people have experience that pertain to our field, construction, blueprint reading. So it's just teaching them to convey that. And I will say I'm always really impressed with the young people, how well they interview. I've been a few interviews myself, and some of these kids are a lot smoother than I am. So kudos to all the counselors for getting everybody dialed in for that. So after their interviews, we submit the scores to AP Metrics. They come out and give us bands where everybody scored at. It is military preference. They would move up a band if they were a veteran. They move up. We've been very successful in our program with veterans. They have a lot of the soft skills and stuff that we're looking for. They realize, initiative, chain of command, right? So we have a lot of success. So that they jump up a band, and then we'll decide how many people we need to hire, where that fits in the bands, and then those people are hired based upon their placement on that, and that's completely randomized. How it works for getting dispatch work, we have an agent. A contractor will call them, tell them that they need a new apprentice. The agent will call that apprentice that's next on the list. Then that person goes to work, and once we have about 12 people, we'll start a new class, and then their apprenticeship starts in here with their training. And then again, it's a 5-year program. There is options for advancement with prior experience and stuff. If they've been working in the field for a while, maybe their parents have a company and they're not coming in as a first year. They understand righty tighty and lefty loosey already. So there is a period where we're watching them their first year. We get reviews, their instructors are giving us feedback and stuff, and there's possibilities that they can get some credit. We just want to make sure that we're not shortening on their education at all. And then we have now moved to computer aided drafting. We have a computer lab here now, so we'll do CAD and 3D modeling and everything. It's just what we're seeing out in the field. We're switching from going to a table where there's a bundle of drawings, and now everything's on a tablet, and we're getting, well, I don't know how to use a tablet. Well, you have a phone in your pocket, right? I mean, it's on the Apple. You understand how to navigate this thing. So we're just getting everyone comfortable with that. We do have industrial rigging certification here as well. That's another upgrade. So it's always busy here. A lot of times, like today, we have about 30 apprentices here, and tonight we'll have another full parking lot again. So pretty exciting times here with the training and the growth. When I started here a year ago, we had about 140 apprentices, and we're up to 215 now. So hired another full-time instructor, added onto the building 4,000 square feet. So we're growing, and we're getting ready to resupply the workforce here. We'd love for the schools to come in on February 20th and check us out. That's what I have. I'll be open for any questions.
Thank you, Chris. All right. Again, feel free to throw any questions in the chat as we're getting close to the end here. Our final panelists are from Commercial Tool Group, so kind of going into the manufacturing sector.
Hi, good morning. I'm Tammy Hansen. I'm joined by Darren Hall, our plant manager for Commercial Tool and Die. I do have just a little PowerPoint I can share my screen. Oops. So just wanted to start out by, can you all see that? Yeah. Just telling a little bit about who we are and what we do. Our name doesn't always necessarily paint the picture. So Commercial Tool Group consists of 3 different operating business units. So we've got CG Automation and Fixture, Commercial Tool and Die, and CG Plastics. The company is family owned and operated, 3rd generation. Al Bauman started the company a little over 70 years ago here in West Michigan. And we've continued to grow and expand. So 3 of our buildings are located in Comstock Park, pretty close to Alpine and 6 Mile. We recently expanded our automation business unit. So we have a second plant for them located in Walker. They needed more floor space and were able to secure something just this last summer. Wanted to tell a little bit about just the industries that we serve. We're primarily focused on the automotive industry, but as you can see here from this slide, certainly service some consumer goods, appliance as well. Just to dive in a little bit more specifically about each of the different business units. So commercial tool and die, Darren, I don't know if you want to tell a little bit about.
Yeah, so commercial tool and die is a plastic injection mold shop. You know, to many people that sounds pretty foreign, like it's just a dark, dirty factory, I guess. But that's really untrue. I mean, the building is really full of, you know, the most precise CNC equipment you can have. It's all technology driven, so it's all computer aided design, computer aided modeling. It's not really production line work at all. And when I mean plastic injection, basically anything you see in your life, in your cars, appliances, your crisper pans, doesn't really matter what it is. We'll take that model and build a mold for it, and then we'll send the mold into production somewhere else.
Another one of our business units within the group is CG Automation Fixture, which I mentioned. So within that division, we're designing and building automated assembly cells, as well as checking fixtures, gauges, that sort of thing. And then the third company that we have, CG Plastics. So CG Plastics started out as a sample shop or as a tryout facility, essentially to support our tool shop. So as they're building the molds, they needed the ability to validate that tool. So they'll put it on a plastic injection molding machine at CG Plastics. We have expanded plastics and are doing production as well now. So we've added on additional resources with operators and supervisors on our off shifts to be able to do both. So wanted to now talk a little bit about the apprenticeship programs that we have. So we currently have 5 programs registered through the DOL. So we have CNC machinists, mold makers, machine fixture builders, maintenance, electrical, and then we are currently in the process of finalizing and submitting our paperwork for a mold design apprenticeship as well. Aside from that, within CG Automation and Fixture, we have established more of an internal apprenticeship training program that's not through the DOL, but we have our apprentices that are interested in going down that path of controls engineering, going through and gaining an associate's through GRCC. And we mirror our DOL apprenticeship programs in terms of how it's set up, how tuition is paid, how on-the-job training is paid, and in-class time is also paid. So that is an overview of our programs. And then I wanted to just highlight some of the details of our apprenticeship program. So typically, we have employees that will come in, and in their first 6 months, roughly, sometimes less, sometimes more, they'll start out on the shop as sort of a shop floor intern. And this position is beneficial for many reasons. One, it allows the individual to just learn a lot of our safety measures. They gain just an overall awareness of how work flows through the shop, and it gives them the opportunity to really take in what we do and try to identify what path they want to go down or what apprenticeship journey they want to pursue. So from there, those that express interest in our apprenticeship program, we take interest from them, and then we'll make that determination when there's availability to start. We typically, for commercial tool and die, like to balance it out where we have no more than 10 to 12 apprentices actively at one time. So our program runs 4 years, typically. Most of the apprenticeship programs have 11 or 12 classes through GRCC that they go through, as well as about 8,000 on-the-job hours. We do work closely with KCTC and have had a number of our apprentices that have completed their KCTC education, and so are able to have some of those courses applied to the apprenticeship. Typically, our starting wages for folks coming right out of high school would be around $16 to $18 an hour. And then we do our step increases every 6 months. So typically at the end of the apprenticeship program, they're anywhere between $22 to $25 an hour. And then there'll be maybe a slight bump upon completion as well. So Commercial Tool Group, we pay for all of the GRCC tuition and fees, and we pay for all of their in-class time. So they communicate to HR and they say, you know, I was in class this week from 6 to 8, and then we add that time onto their time cards. We meet with our apprentices on a quarterly basis just to give them an update on where they are at as far as their hours. And then we also review competencies to make sure that they're on track and progressing. That gives them an opportunity if there's areas where they feel like maybe they've not gained enough experience, or they don't feel that they're moving along or progressing as they'd like, then we're able to communicate that to their mentors and managers and make sure that we stay on top of that. This next slide just kind of gives an overview to show just the earning potential for some of these positions. Most of our employees are working 50 hours, between 45 and 50 hours a week. So this just kind of shows individuals what some of that potential might look like. So from a lead journeyman or a CNC machinist, mold maker, and machine builder, they on average might be, as they progress throughout their career, just shy of 100,000 plus benefits that we provide. Our maintenance techs just over 100,000, as well as the others. So it gives folks an idea that without going through the traditional route of a 4-year college degree, the apprenticeship programs definitely position them to make a solid career in manufacturing. Darren, do you have anything else that you wanted to add to that?
No, I think you covered. I have some questions in the end for some other guys.
Okay, so yeah, that's all I've got. And then this final slide. So folks can apply by going to our website. So commercialtoolgroup.com. We have a careers page with our open positions. If they don't see an actual apprenticeship position posted, we do have a general application that individuals can apply through. Those come directly to me. Individuals can also reach out directly, hr@commercialtool.com. I would say we pretty much are looking for apprentices on an ongoing basis. I don't think we necessarily have a window of time that folks need to apply. So we're always looking to add on to our crews. So that's all I've got.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
See, how do
I'm gonna share my screen so you'll be able to, it'll
pop back? Okay.
knock you out. Oh, I gotta get back to my screen here. All right, gonna share this again just in case you need to remember who we've got. I'm actually gonna exit the full screen though, so that I can see people. So if you do, if you do have questions, go ahead and throw those in the chat, whether they're for a specific person or if you have kind of general questions. One, I know that Chris mentioned an open house and Tony mentioned like the basics program. Does anyone else have any opportunities that like you have schools that will come visit or do tours, or you have, capability to go speak to schools if they're interested in having someone talk to their students?
Yeah, we attend quite a few open houses for outreach. I was just up at NC Risa yesterday. It's pretty common once a week. I'm getting out to some schools and getting in front of students and letting them know about the program. And I would love to go out to some new schools I haven't been to yet. So if you could just email me or call me and we'll get something scheduled.
And
Yes.
after, I will share the recording as well as the PowerPoint and contact information for anyone that has said it's okay to share. So you'll get that information after.
Same thing with me. I visit many schools. We have opportunities for people to come visit our training center in Hudsonville as well. So feel free to reach out to me with the Ironworkers.
Any other questions? Not seeing anything in the chat yet. One other I have, I guess. If there are students, maybe they're working with younger students that, aren't quite ready to apply yet, are there any things that you recommend that students do to continue like cultivating an interest or to see if that is really an area they might want to go into? Or, especially we're looking at, in construction, like there's obviously so many different types of programs. They could go into electrical, they could go to ironwork, they could do how do you have any advice for maybe younger students or students that, are trying to figure it out?
I would definitely recommend if you have students interested who are going to be approaching junior, senior year, go to the Kent ISD Career Center over there. That is a great program. I'm on the welding advisory board, and that is an awesome place where we get a lot of students out of.
Yes. Brad, how many apprentices were you trying to find for 2025?
So for my Hudsonville school, I'm looking for about 70 apprentices, and we will start them as soon as they graduate. So they can apply while they're a senior in high school on track to graduate. That way they can have an apprenticeship waiting for them when they do graduate.
I'm kind of unfamiliar with how the unions work. So how do you get your number of how many you need? Is that like projected of work for 25 or?
So yes, that is definitely projection for work. And Grand Rapids is booming. So historically, Local 25 used to only cover the eastern portion of the state. There was a separate local out here, and we have now taken them over. So we are definitely in a big need for construction workers on the west side of the state. That goes for all the building trades, and I'm sure Chris knows as well. Like we work with other building trades, so carpenters, Jeff Taylor would be a great one, operating engineers. We represent our prospective trades, but I'd be happy to connect kids if they want to go into boiler making or anything else too. Like there's a lot of demand for apprentice tradespeople on this side of the state, and we all do work together very well.
So there's multiple companies that contact you kind of for employees. Like if people get busy and slow, do these apprentices, they don't really necessarily have to worry about that specific job. They can just go back to the union hall and then you can find work somewhere else in town. Is that how that works?
Yeah, so for the iron workers, we have 157 contractors who hire exclusively through our trade union. So yeah, there is always work somewhere.
Gotcha.
It is construction, so we go to the jobs. It's not the same place. Buildings come to an end. So I tell our prospective applicants, like, hey, an hour drive is normal. So you could be going to Muskegon, you could be going down to Kalamazoo, you could be headed towards, we have a massive project in Marshall, Michigan right now with Ford Motor Company. So there is driving. It is not like going to a manufacturing hub.
Yeah. I mean, I can see you have some advantages and also disadvantages. Yeah, but like, us, it's just a 3. So if we get slow, we're slow, and you can't just transfer people around to keep their hours up, which gets kind of frustrating for them and us.
Oh, for sure. And
Where,
we're
yeah,
very economic, like based on the economy as well, right? So there's definitely been bad years. 2008 was definitely a hard year, I think, for everybody in every industry. So it
yeah.
is dependent on the economy. But right now, there is so much work in Michigan. We are the busiest state for construction in the country.
Oh, well, that's all good. Well, we all benefit from it somehow.
Yes, except when we're in traffic on the.
In a kind of similar vein, I would ask Joel and Tony. So Joel, when students are applying for the medical assisting apprenticeship, are they applying to a specific company, or are they placed with a specific, hospital system, or do they potentially move around?
Yeah, great question. It's really an application of interest. So it's just getting them started into the program.
Mhm.
And what we do for our medical assistants is we kind of help them through a learning management software create an online portfolio, and then we present that portfolio to the employers that participate in the program. So it
Got
kind
it.
of gives them a chance to look at the candidates and then pick the ones that they want to interview. So it's not an easy process, right? Like it takes some work and dedication, but rewarding if they can get into the program. So
Great. And yeah, I think you've been able to hear kind of both sides here. I think there's a lot of um, confusion for students sometimes around, do I find an employer first? Do I find, a program first? Which way do I go? And you've kind of seen there's both options here. So we have, unions that are able to help place students or to get students into those workplaces. You have an employer who runs apprenticeship programs. I know Tony mentioned earlier with the early childhood that, people can go to them first and get help with their resume and things to then, work on getting into those different places. So looks a little bit different for different fields, maybe different companies. One thing I do want to point out about all the programs today is that these are all registered apprenticeship programs. So sometimes students will go on Google and they'll say, apprenticeship in this area, and they'll go to Indeed and they'll start to see stuff. So just make sure that they're looking at that as well. Not that those can't be, good programs. They're just maybe not actually apprenticeships. So again, these are all ones that are actually certified by the Department of Labor. They are officially registered apprenticeships, which means they meet those requirements that I had, kind of listed back here. And I don't know if there's a single one on here that required them to pay for school. I think all of the school programs were free. So that's another big thing with these programs.
yeah, Samantha, that's one of the benefits of it being registered with the U.S. Department of Labor. A lot of times there's grant funding available for to help cover the training costs, and a lot of times um, with the employers we work with, they'll cover the costs up front, and then one of the services we provide is to reimburse them through the grant funding. So,
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Any final questions? Not seeing any. All right. Well, thank you all so much again for joining us, to our panelists and to our participants. Again, I'll share the recording, the PowerPoint, the contact information. I've got a flyer from Chris for the open house. If any of the other panelists have information like that you want me to share out, I'm happy to do that. So please feel free to share that with me. If you have any other questions, you can always feel free to reach out to me. And yeah, that is all we have for today. So thank you everyone so much for joining us. I'll stick around just for a minute just in case anyone has any questions, but thank you all.
thanks, you guys. Have a great day.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Sam.
much.